In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to block your measurements using a ventilated mesh wig cap. And this is the type of cap that I'm referring to. This is a mesh ventilated wig cap. It does have a breathable inside that'll allow you to scratch your scalp, and then it also does have holes on the side. So when you do construct your wigs on this type of cap, it really does give you like a light feel because the material is so light. So this is very similar to the type of caps that are inside of pre-made wigs or something similar. And once again, this is a mesh ventilated wig cap. So I'm going to show you how to customize this wig cap and block your measurements accordingly so that you can get a snug fit for a glueless wig. So we're going to be using 5 measurements today. The first one is going to be the circumference, and the circumference that we're working with today is going to be a size 21.5, and this is a size 21.5 canvas head. The other 4 measurements that we're going to be blocking is going to be the front to back, which is 13 inches. We also have the nape area, which is our 3rd measurement. That is going to be 5 inches. We also have the temple to temple, and that 4th measurement, that is 17 inches. And then we also have the last measurement, which is very important. It is the ear to ear over the top. And for this one, this is going to be 12 inches. So with the circumference of 21 or 21.5, you're going to be using a size small cap. So that is what we're using today. We're going to be using a size small, and these caps come in small, medium, or large. So if you were a 22 inch, you would use a medium. If you were a 23 inch or larger, you would of course use a larger cap. And then they also have extra large. So if you were a 24 inch, you would use an extra large. So we have a 21.5, and we're going to be using a small size cap. Before you get started, you do want to make sure that you already do have your T-pin so that you can pin the cap down. You're also going to need some scissors. You're also going to need your thread. And this is nylon thread. This is the best thread to use because the cotton thread does have a tendency to knot and then also pop. So with nylon thread, this thread is more durable, and it's also a different type of material. So you will not experience a lot of knotting, and you will not experience your thread popping. And then also you're going to want to get your needle so that you can do your proper adjustments and sew down the cap. And I already have my needle threaded. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to place the cap on the canvas head, and in the middle there is a line. So just make sure that you follow the middle guideline that is provided to you on the canvas dome cap. And if you see these markers that I have here, I already have the canvas head with certain measurements so that anytime I use this size block to go ahead and make a wig, this is like my pre-measuring system. Okay, so here we have it marked that the hairline is going to start at 9 inches. You know, you always want to measure up 9 inches from the very bottom to the top, and this represents the measurement of your face. Okay, so from your chin to your hairline, it should be 9 inches. So we are going to go ahead and place our first T-pin there in the middle, marking it down at the 9 inches. All right, so we have that secured in, and it's marked at the marker that we need it to be. So the next measurement that we're going to apply is going to be the front to back. The front to back, it is 13 inches, and it's also marked here. This is 13 inches, so we're going to bring the cap here. And whatever your front to back would be that you're working with, you'd of course just put the measurement there accordingly. So I'm going to turn it to me so that I can adjust it, and then I'll turn it back so that we can see that measurement pinned down. All right, so we have the front to back that is already pinned down with our T-pin. And the next measurement that we are going to block, it is now going to be the temple to temple. Now, it is important that you always get the proper measurements on the temple to temple, because you don't want, if you don't get the temple to temple correctly, your edges will be out on the side, okay? So just make sure that you always capture that correctly. Now on this temple to temple, it is 17 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the block to me, straighten it out, and I'm going to bring the sides in. Now, because this temple to temple is 17, I am going to bring it in on these sides, and then we'll just make the adjustments as needed. All right, so I have side 1 marked at the 17 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this side. And what you're going to do is just drag it over. Let me see. All right, so I have both sides now marked at the temple to temple. It's 17 inches. And don't worry about the extra space or the gaps in the cap. We're gonna go ahead and adjust that in just a moment. So the next measurement that we want to go ahead and make sure that we have in place is the ear to ear over top. And for this wig, it is 12 inches. So I already do have it marked here. So I am just going to adjust the ear tabs on the side and bring it up to the marker. And the reason why you want to make sure that you do get this measurement is so that when the wig is sitting on your head, it does not agitate your ear. If you do not mark this correctly and you don't make space for the ear to ear over top, this tab here is going to cause irritation. And of course, we don't want that type of experience, okay? We don't want any irritation while we're wearing our wig unit, so we're not going to do that, of course. Now, if you see here, it is bulky, so we're gonna go ahead and straighten that out. So the next thing that I'm gonna first do is just go ahead and mark the nape, and the nape, it is 5 inches. Now here, since we already do have the front to back pin, we're just going to smooth this out, and that would be good enough to make sure that the back is covered. So you see, it's smoothed out and it's good to go. So now that we have everything pinned down, we want to go ahead and smooth out any ripples that we see. So what I'm going to do is smooth everything forward, because essentially this is going to be cut off on the top, because this is where your lace piece is going to be. So I am going to go ahead and make the adjustments. I'm going to take this pin out with the temple to temple so that I can start to smooth out all of the extra space that's in the wig. And it's okay if you need to readjust the pins. You're just wanting to make sure that you have a flat canvas. And then also, let me pin the ear to ear on this side. Okay, so I've moved all of the extra cap forward, as you see, and everything is smooth. Now, the last thing we're going to do now is start customizing this top piece so that we can get this flush down, so that we can also have a flush canvas. And you want to make sure that you have enough T-pins, because you are now going to start to cut the cap. And there are some areas that you already do need to have pinned down so that you don't lose any of your position or placement. And I'm going to go ahead and show that to you now. All right, so this ribbon here, I'm going to go ahead and pin down this piece in the middle. All right, so you see it's pinned down and it's flush. So now that we have the middle pinned down, this is now where your scissors are going to come into play. So I have my scissors, and what I'm about to do is right here along this seam, I'm going to cut this and bring back any of the extra space, and then I'll pin down the front as needed because this here is still bulky. And then after you cut it, you're just going to go back in with your needle and thread, and you're just gonna sew it back up. All right, so I cut off the first ribbon. Now I'm gonna cut my second one. And these are a fresh, sharp pair of scissors, and you wanna make sure that's what you're using so that you can get a smooth, even cut. All right, and we got a little piece that didn't come off, okay? So now we have cut the top part. And what we're gonna do now is take this extra space, and I'm going to get my T-pin here, and I'm gonna pin it down to the ribbon. All right, it's pinned down. Now I'm gonna do the same thing here on this side. And whatever you need to do to smooth it out, that's what you should be doing at this time, just to make sure that everything is in place. Now that I have the side smooth, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the middle. So I'm gonna get my scissors again. Let me see, I'm gonna move this up so I can see. All right, so I cut the middle. So I'm getting my T-pin here, and I'm gonna take this one and pin it to this middle ribbon, just like that. Now I'm gonna take this T-pin, gather this from the top and pull it down, and I'm basically just smoothing out the surface. Pull this one up, and I'm gonna readjust it so that everything is flat. All right, so now that we have everything pinned down in the front, in the back, we're gonna start working on this front area. Okay, and basically all you're gonna do with this extra space is you're going to pinch it. Okay, so I'm gonna pinch this here. And it's really okay if I go ahead and remove this because I already have the top of my hairline marked. So I'm just going to take this extra space and I'm going to pin it here in the middle. And this will be where I would sew and make my adjustments. So all I'm doing is basically making it flat, if that makes sense. And I still have it on the marker for the 9 inches. Okay, so you see, now it's pinned. And then with the extra space here, you just do the same thing. I'm gonna take my T-pin, gather the extra space, and I'm just gonna pin it. All right, so all of the extra slack and space in the front, it has been removed. Let's go ahead and spin it around to the side. All right, so everything is smooth. I'm also gonna cut it here because as you can see, it's not flush tight. So I'm gonna get my scissors again and just once again make a small cut here to get everything flush tight. And the good thing about these type of caps is with the material, you can adjust it. It's easy to, like, you know, customize it. So yeah, you can cut it in the middle. It's not gonna damage the cap. You just need to know what you're doing. So what I'm doing, I'm only cutting on the ribbon. These caps, they have ribbon, so if you're familiar with working with the mesh ventilated wig cap, all you're doing is cutting on the ribbon. If you cut off of the ribbon, then you can damage the cap. So just make sure you cut on the ribbon. Okay, so I have that side pinned down. The plastic is fine because we're gonna remove that at the end after the tracks are sewed down, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just getting the surface flat because the plastic is not gonna be there. So now I'm gonna go to this side and do the same thing I did on the opposite side, which is basically, once again, cut the ribbon. Don't cut into the cap. Make a snip where the ribbon is. Okay, so I have it cut. I'm moving that up and taking out all of the extra space. So in total, I probably used about maybe 15, 20 T-pins. I don't know if that may be what you would need. It just depends on whatever adjustments you may need to make, but you know, be prepared. Okay, so everywhere now that there is a T-pin, that is where I'm going to sew. Front piece. Okay, you see wherever the T-pins are, that's where we're gonna now sew with the needle and thread. All right, so this is a great foundation to go ahead and start. So I'm not gonna show me sewing this up. It's very simple. You're gonna take your needle and thread and you're gonna loop it in and sew it in. I'm gonna use the blanket type stitch, you know, just to secure it in. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you the completed look, and then we're going to make our guidelines on the base so that we can get ready to make the wig. So I hope that you learned something today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below in the comment area. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the video, and stay tuned for the next one.